afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to One Hub Racing Season 28, round number 6. And just like real life, the drivers head to Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. It is the P4 tier to show us how it's done. And we do have some different weather for the first time this season. As you can probably tell, I am not Mr. Evil Dragon. He has not been feeling great this afternoon after his walk. He feels like he's going to pass out. So I decided I'll be stepping in today to make sure he gets some rest. So get better soon, Evo. But I'm Jess Ball, for those of you that don't know. And joining the P4 commentary box, as always, we got Papa. Hello, Papa.
Hey, Jess. Welcome to the P4 racing. You're probably in for a treat tonight.
We are going to be in for an absolute treat, Papa, because the wheel was spun earlier on today with the adaptive weather system with myself and Colin. And the inevitable arrives. So we're going to start with qualifying, and it's going to start off very wet conditions. So there'll be drivers on full wets, and then it'll be heading into dry conditions with light cloud, or is it overcast? I can't remember. It's one of the two anyway, but it is light cloud at the end of qualifying. And in the race, it is light cloud to overcast to wet. So it is going to be interesting to see how the drivers fare. It is going to be set on approximate. So just because you're watching P4, you may think, oh, the rain stops at around the 4-minute mark, so I will get ready for soft then. No, it won't necessarily be that. So the drivers have got to think on their A game, because if a few drivers practice, it may not be the same as to what practice sessions they've just done about an hour or two ago.
It might not be indeed. I had the issue or the problem as well. Doing a practice session on my own, the weather was completely different in quality than from our practice session. So we never know. We do know, however, that this is the first time these drivers will encounter rain in this season. Round Japan, obviously, famously, lots of water action. Some of the drives in the past have been really dangerous. I see flashes in front of my eyes from cars more or less swimming like ships down the straight. So let's see what the weather is in for us tonight. In a close tier, I must say, where last time out Jamie got the win and all his competitors basically had a very bad finish in the end for several different reasons, but that tonight makes it very special for Jamie being up front for the first time, I believe, in this season. Will he exceed his lead, or will he swim in this rain as I see the weather for the first time? A lot of downfall there on the pit straight. Do you see that as well, Jess?
The people can see the standings at the moment, but I will let people see the rain in just a minute. But your standings at the moment, Jamie, apart from F1 Addy, it's the only driver to pick up 2 wins in the tier this season, 66 points. As you were saying, Jack Craig, second, struggled. Reaper struggled. To be fair, Jack Craig picked the wrong time to take his engine penalty, and he got screwed over by starting on the hard tyres. James had a really decent race in 4th place. Jake, technically in 5th place, because F1 Addict's not here. He got a podium last week. He'll be pleased with that. And we remember Joel Flats. I was so gutted, Papa, when he spun at the penultimate corner with a few laps to go. So it is going to be interesting to see what the drivers could do in these type of conditions. But here we go. We are about to get underway.
Yes, interesting indeed. So far, this championship has been all about who makes the least mistakes. Several drivers, Jamie in particular, had a bad start to the season. A lot of mistakes, penalties coming his way, but now the tides have turned for him. Let's see, the first drivers are driving out there. Obviously, you won't be setting any competitive lap times now, on being that the session might dry up in the end, but to get a feel, to get a rhythm for the track, obviously these drivers elect to go out on their first outlap, exploring the track.
Interestingly, that we got quite a mixture of tyre choices here tonight for the wets and the inters. Now, on the F125 game, there is some people that think that inters are better than full wet, and the full wets are just useless. I'm one of those people. For me, there's no point going on full wets, because for me, they have less grip than the inters, which is why some people are probably out there on the intermediate tires. But the first driver to set a lap is one of the Aston Martins of Fox, I believe. Yep, there he is. He is going to be one of the first people to set a lap time. Of course, Fox near the bottom of the standings. There's quite a few drivers new to the league and new to league racing. So what are your tips, Papa, for any drivers that are going to experience rain for the first time?
As you said, Jess, don't use the full wet tires. As in real life, they are pretty much useless in these conditions. You can think about them if it's a full wet condition session. If the whole race is gonna be full wet, you might profit from them. But any shorter stint, the inters will outperform the wets, I believe. So yeah. Also bear in mind that these laps you're doing now won't be the fastest, so don't risk it all. Don't crash into any barriers, which is easily done, especially in the sector. Very driver-favored section of the course. Such a lovely piece of track to drive in dry conditions. In the full wet, however, it seems a little more atrocious. If you hit any curbing, any grass at all, you might lose traction, send yourself into a spin, and that might not be the lap ruined, but the whole session ruined. So keep that in mind and don't risk everything on those first laps. Explore the track, push the limit every lap a little bit further, and wait and see if it is gonna dry up. You can probably guess it early on enough to sort out your run plan accordingly.
Yes.
But you're a very experienced driver yourself. What do you reckon?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Papa. You got to be smoother on the controls a little bit. You do not want to push the same as you do on the dries, because if you are a bit more aggressive, then you're going to end up drifting, and it's not going to be good. So the smoother reward is rewarded here. If you're not smooth on the controls, you're not going to do well here. And trail braking. I'm rubbish at trail braking. A lot of people recommend it. I would, but I don't walk the walk. I can't trail brake to save my life. The best drivers in the wet conditions are drivers that can trail brake. As Shiesty goes P1 at the moment with Fox in P2. Quite a few drivers have invalidated, including this guy, Madge, who just missed out on the win last week by about 4/10 of a second. This could be the chance where he could take the victory by being so quick. Mark Crawford pops into P2. The people on the Inter seem to be struggling out there, but I think it might seem to me maybe the more experienced drivers will probably try the Inters first rather than the full wets. But Madge will probably go to the pits, I think. Nobody's going to go again. This is going to be the interesting thing, Papa. We will expect to see, I think, more than one lap on the same set of tyres, because he will get more grip as the track gets better.
Especially on those first runs, you will want to run a little higher on fuel than usual, just because every lap the track improves so much that you can basically outperform your hot lap on your cool lap. I noticed that earlier on, and if you just push on and watch out for the battery, maybe around the 10th minute, 9th minute, that's where we might see some competitive intermediate lap times. So far, not so many have completed any laps, so we don't have that much to tell how these drivers can cope with, how the field is gonna settle. Because today, that is going to be very interesting to see how the pack behind Jamie performs and who is gonna emerge as his challenger, if you will. Because 16 points is not too shabby after 5 rounds now. So the pack behind needs to make a good job of not stealing points from each other if they want to compete with Jamie. It's
definitely intermediate. It's definitely intermediates now, because you could see Madge is really closing in on the Alpine driver. I believe that's Curly. I might be wrong. As they make their way towards the Casio Triangle, this track has hosted many tiled decidals, of course. Damon Hill in 96, one of the most memorable races, was in 94, where Damon Hill actually won on aggregate in the pouring rain conditions. As Madge is showing why the Inters are faster right now, it's a 1:45.1. We've got one of the Ferraris about to finish a lap, well, start a lap actually, because Night Clear is coming in to the pit lane. He's not happy with it. His run. I believe next is one of the Red Bulls. It is Reaper. He got a penalty last week because he did a dive into the double chicane in Hungary, which is very difficult at the best of times on lap 1. We'll go through the rivalries later on the stream. But Reaper comes across the line, takes the shortest run possible, a 1:45.199 for him. Not quite enough to reach Madge's time. He slots himself into P2. Anyone else about to finish? Doesn't look like it at the moment. The fastest wet runner is Jake at the moment with a 1:47.1. That's not too shabby, but if I were you, if you're not on Inters, what are you doing? Go to the pits and go on to a set of green tyres.
Yes, exactly. As you said, and as Mike, I don't know how his name is pronounced either. I'm sorry. I meant to ask him earlier this week, but I forgot. As he showed, you can run multiple laps on the Inter tire and still get competitive lap times out of it. What they are worth, we will see in about 9.5 minutes when we see if the weather really fully dried up for dry tires, because then all these intermediate lap times will vanish from the board. If you manage to get the timing right and you are maybe a little bit of a Nostradamus on that
Oh, Madge! What a lap time for Madge! That shows, is it getting quicker? We'll have to wait and see. Curly did not look comfortable at all on a set of the intermediate tyres. Madge goes into P1 by 3 seconds and Reaper's 3 tenths down. So I think Reaper's going to go again for a bang and another push lap, it seems. Kenzie doing well on a set of the intermediate tyres. He always tends to struggle in the dry, so that is impressive to see. Of course, we were worried if he was going to be racing for the rest of the season, but luckily he's fixed his internet, he's got a new router, and it looks like, I'm looking at his car at the moment, it doesn't seem like he's lagging. So good news for Kenzie. He's racing with us for the rest of the season, as Jamie, our championship leader, is showing why he's our championship leader. He goes P1, but not by much though, Papa.
Yes, it's very close between these two. All the other guys still a couple of seconds adrift, but they will find more time as the session progresses, obviously. Great effort from Kenzie. And I meant to say, if he has a more stable connection now, he might profit from it as well, because showing some great pace out there today that we haven't seen from him all season long. He was at the back end so far, so great effort from him. Somebody I really want to do well tonight is Okan, as we follow him around up there in 4th right now. He had a great effort in qualifying last week, but suffered from connection issues. Yes, he was before he finished that lap. I think he improved his time though.
Yeah, he improved his time at 1:45.4, which is about 3 tenths. 3 tenths behind Reaper, which is pretty good. So I would expect 1:40s, 1:39s before we head towards the end of qualifying, as Curly goes third.
Anymore.
I see rain still.
Anymore.
No, I see rain. I still see rain. I still see rain. It might be your graphics, Papa. But
too low.
So Shicey, wow, the first driver into the 1:40s. Now, the track. I think the track's ramping up. I've got my lovely telemetry open, and it says overcast in 5 minutes, which does mean, would it be dry enough for slicks at the end, as Gamer James goes second fastest?
That's also something to obviously take a look at, how these guys set up their cars. If they gambled and thought to themselves, well, it is gonna be a dry run at the end, a soft run, and they set up their car for that, they might be struggling right now, because of the lack of downforce, but they profit on that last lap if they get the timing right. Will be interesting to see as James put it up to P2. Obviously a very consistent driver so far. His worst finish, I believe, is 7th and has had a podium. Not too shabby from him. I believe he's a good, consistent driver who keeps himself out of trouble. No penalties, no issues so far, as I'm concerned, and a great effort as we have another change of lead again. Mage putting it up there.
Yes.
He really pumps in those laps. His 5th lap and made it count. 8/10 from Scheisty.
The thing is, the crossover is going to be, I think, important because I was only practicing with a few drivers and I just didn't know at the time whether slicks or inters were right. So I think none of these drivers are going to have any idea because some of these drivers had hardly any practice time. We only got about 4 minutes to go of this qualifying session, and make sure you give us a follow on Twitch if you haven't already. Let us know in the chat on who you think is going to be pole position. Kenzie thinking it's not dry enough for slicks. It doesn't look like it at the moment, does it? It may look like it will stay inter, which is probably going to be different to all the other sessions I've done today in qualifying, which shows how important it is to go with your gut feeling. And when it's set to approximate, they can't just assume that the rain is going to stop at a certain time. It may not stop at all. As we're seeing Mark Crawford go P2. If people are out now, they're getting some really good lap time. Sometimes, if you think it's not going to rain, it's probably better just staying out, getting the laps in, or just going with your gut instinct, I think. But Papa, who would you think for pole position?
First of all, don't ever trust the weather. We had occasions last season where you literally drove out and it was still wet, and the hot lap you just started was soft. So those who took a gamble profited massively. Don't ever trust the weather.
That happened in Japan last season, actually. I started P2 or P3, I think. But I was a second behind Salau, but because I got the gamble right, I think there was only 3 of us or 4 of us on soft. So, yes, it could happen here, but it doesn't look like it, doesn't it, for P2? P4, sorry.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
It just doesn't look...
3 minutes to go.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like it.
You have to decide now.
You got to, because you got to go out within the 2-minute 20 mark. If you go any less than that, you're not going to make it out in time. So people are going to think, right, am I going to gamble and go on softs, or am I going to play it safe and go on inters? I would probably go on inters right now, just to make sure you definitely get a lap in. Jamie looks like he's gambling, so is Night Cleo. I'm liking the gambles right now. Lakita's saying Jeff's working overtime today. Yes, I am, because Evil's not feeling very well. So the only break I get is P2. That's it. So, but this kind of gives me a rough idea on how this could be for P3 layer. But again, I'm not going to trust my gut instinct. 2 minutes and 44, and it's stopped raining.
Not raining. I just
Gamble
noticed.
paying
I
off
just
for
wanted
Jamie.
to say, yes, it should. It should. I mean, he has to keep it on the track, and it's always... These guys are so quick up there. There's several drivers who still haven't put in a competitive lap, who I expect to put it up there as well. Joe Flats and Jack Crack are still very much down the field.
I would go out now. Why are they not going out now? But I had to go out 2 minutes 20 when I was practicing earlier, even on inters if I wanted to get to the end. So... I
Several
think
drivers exiting their pits now, but it might be too late.
I think
Also,
Night Clear will be fine.
Manage traffic.
Night Clear will be fine.
But there's a driver exiting now with 1:50 left to 1 minute 50 left on the ball.
Oh, Jamie! I don't think he's going to do it. No, Jamie's not going to do it, unfortunately, unless it magically dries up like. Well, I'm not going to say anything, to be honest. So we have no idea who's going to do well. Jack. I've no idea where he is because he has not come out. So he'll be starting last, but there are a few people taking engine penalties. So technically he's not starting last, but he has not set a competitive lap time yet. So we don't know who's going to get pole position. is it going to be the one on inters or is it going to be the one on soft? DRS is not enabled yet. The track still looks slippy, so I don't think it doesn't look anywhere near enough for slicks. So I think the one that's going to get pole is on inters, but you never know, like Papa was saying earlier. Mark Crawford about to finish his penultimate. No, he's not. He's invalidated. He invalidated in the Casio triangle, so that's his lap done. We have got Shiesty on a set of the intermediate tyres. There are some areas of the track that look so much drier, but there's some that looks quite damp. It is a crossover, as Mike's saying in the chat. Shiesty goes up to the line. What could he do? It looks like it's going to be way faster. It's a 1:38.2 for Shiesty. At the moment, he is fastest.
Yes, another driver who's very quick, who will be disappointed with the progression of the season so far. He had a couple of mistakes on his own, a couple of bad luck moments, and really still hasn't finished as DRS is activated. So whoever is on his hot lap now...
Jamie's just made it! 10 seconds to spare! Wow.
Has he prepared his battery for this run? If so, he's absolute genius and will get pole for sure.
So, if you're on softs right now, then you're going to profit a lot from it. Ideally, if you left it late as well. Curly is probably regretting that he went on to inters. He must be feeling a bit frustrated with himself now. But let's watch on board with I think both Mercedes are going into the pits, actually. They can't do their lap. So, finished Fox up next. He's invalidated, so that is his lap time done and dusted. What about Gamer James? He's on the inters. Purple set to 2. This is looking like a quick lap from him. Will that shoot him up to the top of the standings? There's not many people on softs that are improving, so this could be a pole lap for the Williams driver who's been looking so consistent all season. Could this be his best qualifying of the season? The answer to that is yes. He is fastest with a 1:37.7. But we still have Jamie on a lap time, Night Cleo on a lap time, and Night Cleo is a bit faster by 5 seconds. He's getting a tow from one of the cars in front of him. I think it's one of the Red Bulls. Joel Flatch is also on a lap time. We'll keep an eye on him.
Yes, he made it.
Yep, he made it as well, but Night Cleo, he goes up to the line. So we've got 3 people that can do it. Night Cleo goes fastest. What could Jamie do, our championship leader? He's heading towards the final corner. We'll see how much Kirby he took through the Casio triangle. This looks like a solid lap for Jamie. He goes top. The only one that could stop him is the Red Bull driver, and Joe is looking almighty quick. Up to the line. 4 fastest. Kenzie, he's on inters. He can't do anything. So for the first time this season, your championship leader, Jamie, will be on pole position. And since he's already taking all his penalties, that's where he'll be starting for today's race. And Japan is a place where qualifying is key. Jamie, Night Cleo, and Joel benefited from those soft tyres. And Madge put off a great lap on the inters, which showed that probably inters were probably the best tyre for some people because Madge was right there in third. But Jamie gambled and it played it well. He's on pole.
It is something that the game translates badly into the reality. The car leading, the car doing the first run is the car in a disadvantage by far. Because even in the race, as you progress through the field, the timing of the progression of the weather actually times it from the lead car. So if you timed it to perfection like Joel Flatz did, he must have been just on the brink of missing out on doing that lap. He was the one talking about...
he didn't have DRS either. I don't think he had DRS coming up the start finish straight, which is probably why. That is your order, by the way. I think if he had DRS, he would have got pole for sure. But the DRS could gain you just so much time. Just so much time. So I think that's where he lost out in the end. But that was a very good qualifying session for some people. But this is going to be the same for all the other tiers, I think. It's not going to be the same. They just got to go for their gut feeling. And there might be some sessions where the softs are definitely the right tyre, but there may be some sessions where the intermediates are the right tyre. Who is your biggest good surprise in this session then? Who do you think surprised you in a good way?
I think Kenzie made the most of it. A lot of people didn't get, obviously, the timing and the tire right. So I must say those guys up there really timed it to perfection, trusted their gut, or Mikey, who in that case called it for Nightclaw. I don't know what happened to Okan on that side, as we see our.
There's going to be a dummy grid, actually. But you're not going to see. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it at the moment. But yeah, I have to say, Kenzie made the most of a bad situation. I think if it stayed Inters, he still would have been up there near the top 10, which would have been much higher than you would have expected in terms of qualifying. So I think for Kenzie, that is a good job for him. But we are about to get going for the race. Jamie will be setting up the grid. We do have some engine and gearbox penalties in a P4, and I will go through them right now. There's only 3 of them. So we got Night Cleo on a gearbox, I can't even pronounce his name, Helvetica on a gearbox, as well as King Bryce on a gearbox. And Shiesty is taking his engine penalty. So I don't think Helvetica is here tonight. Yeah, he is. That's good. So every single driver that's taken a car wear penalty is here tonight. So Shiesty will be starting at the back of the grid because there's only 16 drivers, so that makes sense. Night Clear will be starting at a decent position, actually. He made the most of it. It is gearbox. It worked out well for him. He's only going to be starting 7th, which is all probably on average where he would have started anyway, usually in qualifying. So he made the most of it, and he's probably happy that he took a gearbox in Japan.
Yes, that's obviously where the experience also for these guys kicks in. Nightclaw and Okan both profiting from Mikey in that case, who seems to be their engineer this year, and their personal trainer, and their tiny bird, and everything at once. But great job from those guys up there. I really must say I'm so impressed by Jamie. Lots of people would fold under that pressure, but he has obviously so much experience in league racing, put it up there, got the timing right, got the tire right, and on a track where track position really is pivotal, as you said. Not gonna see a lot of overtakes tonight, I'm afraid, but
you
putting
never
it
know,
up
Papa.
there when it matters.
You never know.
We never know. Obviously, last week in Hungary, we also had a lot of action out there. Most of the time, very fair, and some of the times, very ambitious.
Yes, very brave for some people, very good for some people, and we'll see if Jamie getting pole is going to be good enough for him, because there's quite a few people that haven't taken the win from pole position. I think the only person that did that was F1 Addict. Everyone else, most races, the one that didn't take pole, didn't take the win, it was somebody else. So that will be interesting. I've just heard from Mikey in the chat, who is engineering the likes of Ocon and Night Cleo. Ocon missed the line by 3 seconds. That is gut-wrenching for the Ferrari. He could have been up there with his teammate, but sometimes you got to take the gamble, unfortunately. But we have got some media day interviews to go through. So we'll start off with the rivalry section, and the people that were called into the rivalries were Night Cleo and Reaper, which was about the lap 1 incident. And Reaper was asked if he regretted the move that they tried to do at the moment, and how can you involve a similar incident not happening again. Reaper said he doesn't regret it at all. Hungary's a tough track to overtake, so I'm going to take every half opportunity there is. I still believe I was beyond 50% alongside, but I had an issue on recording, so no POV. Don't plan on changing anything either. No hard feelings. We're here to race, not politely wave each other through, which I think is quite an interesting answer, let's just say. Night Clear was asked, where do you think you would have been in a race without that incident, and have you resolved things between the two of you? And he said, I think I would have maybe been top 5 podium with my pace in the earlier stints. I gained massively with the undercuts, but with the contact, I had to pit very early, and I was a sitting duck in sector 3, so lap after lap I lost position in the straight. No hard feelings on the contact. Things happen. I made my fair share of mistakes. We just go on racing. So Night Clear is willing to forgive Reaper on this occasion, which I think is smart to do. But interestingly, that Reaper will do something similar again on that one.
Yeah, I hope not. Some people already expressed their concern in the P4 tier chat about turn 1. It's obviously prone to accidents, minor ones or bigger ones. accidents or, well, whatever Senna and Prost did back in the days. That was in Suzuka 2, wasn't it? Where they crashed into each other before even turning in for turn 1.
Yeah, I
So
think.
yeah, hopefully we don't see anything reminiscent to that at all. We want some clean and challenging drives. Maybe we get some side-by-side action where we would usually not expect it. That's something obviously for these drivers to consider. On track 1, you don't really have the rhythm. You want to make up any position possible, and especially from turn 3 to turn 9, those sweeping S's. There's a lot of possibilities for side-by-side, but you have to be respectful about it, giving your opponent enough space so that both of you live to see lap 2.
Yeah, I think lap 1, turn 1, it's not the end of the race there. People with a much experience will sometimes not go for things too much and will try and defend instead, potentially on the position they gained, and then start to gain positions maybe after the second lap or the third lap. Experienced drivers know that they've got plenty of racing laps to get the move done, and they could do it by strategy. And there are some new drivers that are very lucky to have experienced drivers who have experienced stuff like that and can give them tips, who can give them advice on how to tackle these things. And don't forget, Mikey only started league racing properly last season, and Mikey's already given some great tips to these guys as well, so he's already been in those shoes, I think. So I think the Ferrari drivers are probably in a good position to have someone engineer who has only been in that position 1 season ago.
Yes, exactly. He knows what these guys lack so far, what these guys have to learn, and that practice makes good. I believe he also profited massively, obviously, from his teammate, whom I had the pleasure to lose against in the championship fight. So they definitely profit from some experience in how to successfully drive in league racing. Concerning strategy, oftentimes these guys struggled with incidents on lap 1, so it really is pivotal to keep a clean nose for any of these guys to have a chance of fighting for the top spaces, because a lot of these guys have actually shown great pace on occasions but lacked the consistency or the luck to really challenge up front. So let's see what these guys can do tonight. Obviously, a lot of chaos due to the weather conditions in the latter stages of the race might also be a concern for some of these. Making it is the first goal. So being adaptive, I believe, is something that also is mandatory, especially since you explained multiple times that our weather system is on approximate, so we do not know when the weather will kick in, how strong the weather will kick in, and if these guys need to actually change their strategy for this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite varied, of course, with the adaptive weather system. For some people, like me, they would have either a telemetry software where it tells them what the weather's going to do for each block, and there might be some drivers that may have an engineer to help them a little bit as well. Or there might be some people that they're going all on their own, which is quite interesting. So if you're wondering what's going on, we were waiting for one driver, but unfortunately, since he's AFK, we're going to have to go. We are going to have to go because I have to set up P3 straight after this. So we can't really be holding up too much here. So we are going to be getting going very soon for the race action. And Mad was called to the driver's press conference after narrowly missing out on the race victory last week. And he was asked on how did he find last week and what track would he think he have a good chance at winning a race at. And he said he liked the race and he got some very great experience out of it. I'm guessing he's quite new to league racing as well. He likes Jeddah. Probably one of the only few people that likes Jeddah, so fair play. Watch out for him in Jeddah. But he hopes he can stop making dumb mistakes and start winning much sooner. But we've seen his pace in qualifying. Yes, he feels like he's got the pace in Jeddah. I think his first race win can probably come very much sooner than Jeddah, I think.
We you never know when it comes. I would have bet on Solo getting his win way earlier than he did, but sometimes the stars do not align for you. So maybe the stars will align for a brand new race winner in One Hub Racing tonight. A lot of rookies, a lot of experienced people who haven't had a sniff of it yet. So let's see what Suzuka has in store for us.
Yes. Let's go for our sponsors, though, before we go to the main race action. So we've got our partners, our title sponsor, Delta.app. You will use all your investments in one app. If you are over 18, you could track your investments like the world's top investors and make smart decisions. And you could track your journey to success. You can get the app for free by using the link in the description on YouTube or by using the command !Delta in the chat. We also got Next Level Racing. These are the prizes that the drivers could win this season, and titles and prizes to be confirmed. Sim Racing Setups, they've been our sponsor now for our second season, and we got some good news. They have increased our discount code. You can now get 10% off instead of 5% off now using the code OneHubRacing. So if you want to get some setup now's the chance to do it, because you can get it at quite a good price. And I know Sim Racing Setups have reduced the F125 bundle price, so you're going to get it cheaper than what I got it. So there we go. And it's also prizes for Driver of the Month and Driver of the Season as well. No, Driver of the Day, sorry. We got Pure Sim Gear. You can get 10% off their Sim Racing gloves or socks. Code is in the little image there as well. Our partners, Vespertine, they support our merchandise. They helped with our payment system this season and our merchandise. And finally, SimGrid. Without SimGrid, we will be running Google Forms, and it'll be an absolute nightmare. So there we go. But we're about to head to the racing. Who do you think's going to win, Papa?
If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would put my money on maybe the new guy. Mage really showed great pace last time out, missing out by only half a second, and showed great pace in the rain again. And with it being on the brinks, actually it's Jamie. Of course it's Jamie. But it will be a tough fight, I believe. A Haas driver coming in and dominating is not unlikely in this tier.
Yes, we've seen that in plenty of seasons, so not really that surprising. I think F1 Addict was in the Haas, wasn't he? When he started in P4. So, yeah.
And I believe Josh, before he went up to P3, P2 tier, was also in the Haas.
He's in P2. So. He's in P2 tonight. Actually, I wish him the best of luck. And he was very understanding, bless him, when we decided he's too quick. Anyway, the 5 red lights are on for the first race of the night. The P4 tier is underway. Jamie gets a good start. So does the Williams and Gabe and James. They all make their way towards turn 1 for the first time. James almost got P2, but he swoops around the outside of Reaper, but Reaper tried to cover him off. Both Red Bulls actually are having a good start. Night Cleo had an awful start, dropped all the way down into P7 as there's contact in the background with Shiesty and Kim Bryce. They've had a coming together in the S's, and that's not worked out well for them. But Jamie already pulling off a 7/10 gap to Joel Flats in the Red Bull. His start was absolutely sensational, and that's the start we were looking for from our championship leader.
Yes, but right behind him, he has the problem right now of 2 Red Bulls who are very fast and who can work together in this race to put him under pressure. James also a good getaway, making up a spot in P4 up there. Mark Crawford also had a blistering start, firmly in the top 5 now, while the Haas sadly lost some positions. But all to play for, only for the first lap. Saw some brilliant side-by-sides between Okan and Fox. Through the S's, they made a clean getaway. Now Okan on the back straight actually blasts past the Aston Martin.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant job from Okan actually. And he's trying to redeem himself after not getting his car to set a final lap in qualifying. So he's got a lot of work to do. But we do have people taking engine penalties, and they're already climbing their way up already. So that's really great to see. As you can see, Reaper almost getting the edge on Joel Flats, though, into turn one. James, though, unfortunately has lost within DRS of Reaper, so he's going to be under pressure very soon as Mark and Madge has gone off, and he's almost made contact with Nightclear in the background. In the S's unsafe rejoin. Be careful, Madge. Madge now dropped down into 11th. He was doing so well going side by side. He's now dropping down into 13th. That looked like an unsafe rejoin to me, but that was very unfortunate from the Haas guy. Everyone is on mediums except Helvetica and Fox. Helvetica is on hards. Fox is on softs. I have had experience on softs, and they were at 40% after 5 laps. So, softs, especially with these conditions that we got expected around here, not the best decision at all. Shicey trying to go for the move on Helvetica, and he does it. Nope, he doesn't. Helvetica's going to try and get the move on Shicey now. Through spoon curve they go, as Shicey covers him off in the inside. Helvetica goes around the outside, potentially covers him off, as one of the Aston Martins goes wide. That is Bryce, I believe. No, that's Fox. That's Fox. So Shicey's up into 10th place. He took advantage there.
Yes, a quite chaotic bit of some of the contenders here. Shiesty again will be frustrated with the start, but actually profited from several other mistakes. Is firmly in the top 10 now, made up 5 spots from where he started, despite all the yo-yoing. Reaper also now blasts past his teammate and wants to close the gap again. Jamie has put more than a second between him and the Red Bulls, but it will be Reaper now leading the charge.
Yeah, Reaper the leading Red Bull so far. It's like in real life, of course, where we're seeing Red Bulls fighting, but in real life it was a Ferrari. So who's going to be number one? Who's going to be the one to have a compromise and say, look, your teammate is faster than you? I don't think any one of those drivers would want to be in that situation, as we're on lap 3 of 27. Madge trying to redeem himself now. Through goes Madge on the hairpin, but Shicey gets a better exit. Madge did not make the move stick at all, but he covers it off on the entry into 100R, and there he goes, up into 10th place now. Don't forget, in 100 Racing, mandatory 2-stop regardless of weather conditions, and also points are down to 12th place. You could see some side-by-side action happening with both Ferraris, as Ocon and Nightclear. Nightclear goes up into 7th position. Nightclear, of course, had a bad start. It's unlike the Ferraris to have a bad start, because they always have good starts in real life. Ferraris, learn from real life and get better starts, please, because they seem to be doing better, as one of the Red Bulls, Reaper, has just picked up the fastest lap of the race. He is closing in on Jamie at a rate of knots. He could be a threat to take Jamie's lead.
Yes, he really lost a bit of touch in the championship fight last time out, finishing only 10th, Reaper, but he showed great pace earlier on, and now he's within 2/10, almost pushing Jamie through this course, while Joel also already lost touch to his teammate, so he needs to find a way to now stay between those guys, maybe try and catch back up. Actually, I thought these guys would work together now, but if Joel obviously can't keep touch, then it's
He's
better
out of DRS to Reaper. He's out of DRS to Reaper.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you can see Reaper's lost some ERS, and he's gone a bit wide, which should help Joel gain a bit of time. Meanwhile, Mark Crawford has got past Gamer James, so the top 3 are really a class of their own compared to the rest of the field right now. Yes, James is in 5th, but he's getting chased down by Curly. James in an Alpine sandwich right now, which is not going to be wide at the moment. And I'm loving that the Ferraris are racing, by the way. Thanks, Mikey. I do not want team orders at this stage of the race. Thank you very much. But let's see if Reaper can challenge our race leader. Jamie is saving some ERS. Reaper, you can tell he's burning, but he's not close enough. Oh, it's ever so tight, heading towards the S's. The tyres will start to wear as Reaper goes round the outside of Jamie on the S's. I wouldn't have done that move. But the Red Bull did take a bow, Reaper. That was incredible. Well done from him.
What a move, really. I don't know what... Nobody expected that, and probably Jamie got caught off guard there. Recharging his battery, not really paying attention, and already losing touch to the DRS. It's 9/10, it's so close. If Reaper manages to pull away and Joel keeps touch with Jamie, he's really under pressure today.
Yes, and he's already pulling away from Jamie quite a bit, actually. We thought he was going to be vulnerable to Jamie in turn one, because you could see Jamie had better straight line speed, but the cornering speed made the difference between Reaper, I think. Reaper's got the downforce that he really needs to stay within touching distance. I wonder if this is going to be a back and throw in towards T1. We'll have to find out. I'm loving this fight, and this is a good chance for Reaper to close in, because he's had really bad luck last time out, and he would love to be penalty free and take a race victory, and that would be fantastic. I believe he won in Silverstone, so it will be another driver to pick up his second race win of the season. Through turn one they go. Jamie, understandably, with all that experience, deciding just to stay within touching distance of Reaper. You don't necessarily have to go for the move every lap, because A, you will gain a bit more tyre wear, and B, you'll burn some battery. So that's where the experience comes in, as Nightclear has had a bit of a spin. I wonder if he's made contact with someone through T1. I did not see that, but Nightclear down into P12. His day has gone from bad to worse. He had a good qualifying. He had a bad start, and now he's up to 12th. I would have loved to have seen what happened. I'm almost certain he probably made contact with someone, or someone made contact with him. I don't know. But the one thing we do know is that he's dropped down positions.
And one thing I do also know is that this is not decided yet. Not at all.
No.
We have a couple of drivers still trying to get positions further ahead. Ocon is behind the Alpine, who is behind the Williams, who's currently holding them up. And ahead of them, Mark Crawford actually is catching up with the second Red Bull. So he seems to have more pace in hand right now. If he catches Joel, it will be fun to see if he can pass him as well, because that's a whole different thing on this track.
Ocon gets past Curly through the Casio triangle. We just about caught the end of it, but the Ferrari is gaining momentum, and now he's going to try and get past Gamer James now in towards T1. But can Mark Crawford fight back? Curly is in this as well, but can't quite do it. Jake's in this fight as well. Expect first pit stops from some drivers pretty soon. That's what Nightclear has done. I believe he might have picked up some front end plate damage, but I'm not entirely sure. Surely Mikey could tell us a little bit on what has happened, but it doesn't look like he's got damage, so he just needs to get off those tyres, because they were just dead. So through he goes, onto a set of the hard tyres. That to be expected. If it was a completely dry race, there will probably be some people going on mediums. But because there's going to be rain at the end of the race, well, potentially, that is going to be probably the smartest move for anyone, to go onto a set of the hard tyres. But now, I don't think it's a smart move, because he was struggling even on the medium. So I felt like he should have gone for just at least a few more laps. But expect to see more drivers coming in at the end of the next lap, I would say.
Yeah, probably, really, especially if you try to push to the limits. You're gonna run through this rubber really quick with a fully loaded car, especially in the beginning when you have full tanks and want to go as fast as possible if you're in one of these fights, because Jamie has caught up a little bit again. They are up and down between themselves, Nid and Ty, as Jamie's in. Goes for the undercut.
I had a feeling someone
Joel
would come in.
It.
Yep, Joel covers it as well. James is in too. What the Ferrari stays out of Ocon. I thought he would have come into the pit and followed Nightclear lead, but maybe it might not be the smartest move for him. So we'll see where Jamie comes out then. He's going to come out quite ahead of quite a lot of the guys that just pitted because Night Cleo, of course, had a spin earlier. So he comes out just ahead of Fox. No, Kim Bryce, sorry. He's got some clear air in front of him, which is just what he needs. There's been plenty of drivers throughout this season in P4 that have lost so much time in the pit stops when they come out, and the undercut just did not work because they had the dirty air. You got to time it well. Look at the map and see where potentially you would come out of. Maybe think about what the pit lane loss time is and work your way through it. Jamie decided his tyres have given up the ghost, so he has come in, and we'll see where he ends up in relation. He's already closing in on the guys that have stayed out, so I think this could be smart, but he's got to make those hards last until the wet period. Gonna be difficult, but we'll see if he can do it.
Yes, but I think he timed it to perfection, putting the Red Bulls under the pressure and finding himself a clean pocket without traffic on the tarmac. Somebody want to point out again is Mage, who obviously had a stinker of a start, lots of trouble in the S's, but with early stop he seems to have made up quite some race time. He's ahead of Gamer James now, who was fighting up front in the top 5, I believe, before he pitted. So
yeah,
maybe
good recovery
he's
so
on
far.
a good recovery drive here. Especially with the rain in the end, we never know. Not giving up that one.
Do not give up without a fight. Let's just say that. We got more pit stops. Reaper is on the softs. Reaper's on the soft compounded tyres, and he comes out ahead of Jamie. So the overcut has worked in Reaper's favour, or maybe he did a great in-lap and he had some clear air to deal with. So Reaper is your net race leader, but unfortunate, unlike Jamie, he's got some traffic. So he's going to allow Jamie to close in a little bit. I don't think it's smart to go on softs. She got to make 2 stops somehow. Softs won't last very long. They only last 4 laps optimally, so it won't be too long before Jamie actually catches up to them. But for now, Reaper's ahead and is in the lead.
He had trouble lighting up those hard tires, so his outlap wasn't fast enough. And with the Red Bull covering it, he probably would have needed another lap to really make up time. As I see Oaken and Gamer James right behind, fighting with each other in spaces where they shouldn't, actually. Doesn't matter. If they have the feeling they should, they should. But now, actually, he made a mistake and lets the Williams back through again. 3 wide on the back straight, and Shiesty
what's going on here?
sitting.
Oh! Yeah, that was a bit chaotic as Shiesty gonna go for a send. Oh, he almost lost touching distance there. Kenzie looked like he was trying to let Shiesty through there. So you can tell Kenzie's tyres have given up the ghost, and he comes in. Jake's still on those medium tyres. Yeah, respectful there. He doesn't want to get involved in too much drama. So James, by the way, passed Oaken up into 8th spot. So he too is also having a decent race. Yes, he lost 1 place from the start, but he's in the a net top 6 at the moment. And he's still doing consistently well in this one, keeping out of trouble. 3-second time penalty from the Sauber driver, or Helvdivica. We got a yellow flag. Now, who's that? Nope, no one. Okay, that's very weird, but we are all going along our merry way, it seems. It looks like it was a ghost yellow flag.
Yeah, sometimes the yellow flags are waved quite early, only if someone leaves the track slightly. But we see that now that the first stint unfolded, that Reaper obviously has great pace, but I really doubt his strategy. As you said, the soft doesn't last that long. Maybe he's gambling on the rain not being too heavy in the end. So he's gonna pit towards a hard set of hards.
Jake's in.
Make up some time now, blasting fastest lap after fastest lap, 5 or 6 laps along, and then sit on the hards till the end, while everybody else waits for the rain to come and obviously loses time in the meantime. If it rains, he loses out. If it doesn't, he might profit massively.
Yeah. Well, we will see. Maybe he wants to go on hards from lap 14, 15, and those hards could get to the end. And that could be smart, because I've done 14 laps on the hards before around this track, and it is doable. So if anyone could do it, Reaper can. So I don't think it'll be a long stint on the soft tyres. So if it doesn't rain at all, this could be a smart move for the Red Bull driver. But like you're saying, if it does rain, absolute nightmare for him. Jamie's not getting as much as we would have liked, so I think the softs are still quite reasonable for him. But your order at the moment is Reaper in the lead from Jamie, from Joel, from Helptica, the only driver yet to stop. Then we got Mark Crawford, Madge, Gamer James, Okan, who's having, I think he's not stopping fighting this afternoon. He's got Shiesty for company, and he's fighting Gamer James as well. And he's also got Jake right behind as well, who's putting some very good pace on those set of hard tyres. His stop was pretty decent. Yes, he may have not timed qualifying well, but he's trying to make up for it in the race, it seems, because Jack, unfortunately, well, he was AFK, so he couldn't make the rest of it. I wonder if it was due to an emergency at home, and if it is, then hope things get sorted out soon, Jack, if you're watching this back. But we're about to start lap 13. We'll see what everyone else is made of. I'm not seeing any light rain slots in my telemetry at the moment, as Mark Crawford gets past Halbert to get up into 4th place. But yeah, no light rain stuff at the moment. It's still this overcast for the next 15 minutes.
Well, I have got news on Jack and his whereabouts. He is actually a citizen hero. From what he says, there was a young girl getting stabbed in the street, and he gave first aid until the ambulance arrived. So that is obviously great stuff. Lovely to see. Great effort from him, and a good reason to miss out on the race.
Yeah. Jamie, if you're watching this back, please don't give him a no-show for that, because honestly, like, I think anybody should be able to do that, and he put his needs second and someone needs first. So good on Jack. Yes, he practiced a lot for the race, but sometimes real life comes before gaming. So Jack, fair play, and best of luck next week, mate. He gets a long break as well, at least, and he'll probably will help his teammate now in the meantime, which means he's going to lose so much more points to Jamie. So there we go. Mike saying that's a driver of the day vote right there. Well, we can't give driver of the day votes, Mike, to people who haven't raced. It will be not good. We can give him like an Endeavour award or something, but not a driver of the day award. I'm sorry. But anyway, we've got people coming in, and we got Helptica doing his one first stop, and he's on mediums. That's not going to get to the rain period, Papa.
We don't know when the rain will kick in. Usually you'd say third, so 9 laps each weather condition with a small transition, but you never know. And the mediums seem to have a lot of more pace than the hards, considering that Jamie really struggles to even keep up with... oh no, he's running the soft. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's running good pace on the soft, Reaper. To be fair, Jamie's not gaining that much. Yellow flag. That is Madge. Madge has lost quite a bit of ground. Does he have damage? No, he doesn't. I think he just lost the momentum on the exit of the hairpin. So another position he has lost. So unfortunately, his race has gone from worse again, as Jamie gets a good exit out of Spoon Curve. Through goes Jake, and Jake's up to 7th, and Jake is having a good stint. I have to say, I was applauding his stint on the hards, and this is definitely paying off for him. He's loving those hards right now, probably better than the mediums. There's Shiesty trying to get past Madge as well, and he cuts the corner doing so, Papa.
Yeah, these guys are really at it. I was observing it for quite a while now. As they move onto the straight, let's see if any moves happen, but doesn't seem so. The Mercedes tries route the outside of the Williams and does so. Brilliant move into turn 1, and now up ahead tries to...
It was the Alpine, not the Williams. It was
I tend to disagree. I don't know what you saw, but I saw Jake passing Gamer James.
Right, I did see. I didn't see that. I was talking about McLaren. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my
Good
God.
thing if we're both on the same page.
Yeah, good thing we're on the same page because I was trying to figure out what you're talking about. I was just replying to Jack's message. But Jamie's caught up a second to Reaper that lap. So those softs are definitely not the best for Reaper. But if I was Reaper, I would come in now. It doesn't look like the rain's going to be coming anytime soon. Yes, there's dark clouds, but Reaper would come in now. He would get those tyres to the end. Good work for him, and he will see what he could do, and he could get the undercut on Jamie. But no, he stays out. The more he stays out, the more Jamie's going to gain some time.
Yes, on the one hand. On the other hand, you also said earlier that traffic might be difficult to maneuver. And if he pits now, he will be behind those guys battling. So each pass he will have to fight for especially hard, since these guys don't want to just wave him by. It's their position, and they are not gonna know that he's fighting for something else and already has stopped twice. So he has to get the timing really right, not lose too much time to Jamie, and not to lose too much time in traffic. But I really don't know why he went on the soft. He blasted some fastest laps in, but now he's losing out a couple of tenths each lap, and it will only get worse.
Yeah,
Behind
looks like
that,
it, doesn't it?
Mark Crawford, is he catching those guys, or is he? Yeah, I believe at least he made up some good spots to be up there in third, battling with the second Red Bull. Joe F. Letts doesn't seem to have the race pace right now to keep up with his teammate up front. So good thing that they gave each other team orders, it seemed, in the early stages of the race.
Yeah.
Right now,
So
he's catching half a second each lap, Jamie. So he really needs to think about what he's gonna do now. Ask his engineer. He's boxing.
yeah, Reaper understandably is boxing, and still no sign of the rain at the moment. For some reason, my PC decided to stop recording some stuff, which wasn't ideal. And I'll need the recordings for the race, my race later on. So I had to delete some recordings. So yeah, we're back underway, ladies and gentlemen, but on lap 16, and Reaper's now going to come out with, hopefully he'll come out ahead of Shiesty. Nope, he does not. So he's got some traffic to deal with. That's going to be, I think, quite difficult. So yeah, that's not going to be the best of first stints for Reaper, unfortunately. That's going to be good news to Jamie's ears. Still no sign of the rain. It still says overcast for the next 15 minutes on my screen. We just don't know when this rain is going to come. This is going to be amazing. But meanwhile, Joe Flat is catching Mark Crawford at the moment. Mark Crawford has played an absolute blinder. He could be on for a very decent result here at the moment. Jake is also good at keeping clean with hardly any penalties. He has had some great fights with Ocon in the past, in quite a few races. I'm sure, Papa, you will tend to agree. Those two, well, apart from race 1, of course, but in every other race, these two fighting, I think it was around Silverstone, those two fought quite well, and it was really clean between these two. So I'm excited to see what Jake could do on those hard tyres, and he is catching ever so slightly, but he's got a burner. He's saving quite a bit of battery, I'm noticing, Papa. He's not gaining as much as I thought he was going to be. So I wonder if he's gonna try and gain quite a bit going through the Casio Triangle. He's not gonna gain the DRS. Oh no, he's not. He's not gonna gain DRS. So he is just about behind, or maybe he's just being more conservative right now, as Reaper in the background trying to get past Shiesty, which he does, and Reaper is up into P6.
Yes, lovely to see these two, and clean as well. No hard feelings between any of those when mistakes happen. They seem to move on and battle it out on track, which is great to see. Also, obviously relevant for the constructors title this year. McLaren is in the lead, but it's still very tight. Only 13 points separating them from Mercedes behind, who obviously only have one car tonight in the run due to reasons we talked about earlier. But Jake will have to, collect good points tonight for them to not fall out of that race. While the Alpine guys, I think Mark Crawford is still gaining a little bit on Jamie. It
Not
was
as much.
a little more, but or the gap has stabilized. Still, great effort from him. He started way down the order and is now fighting up there for a podium, at least. The Alpine boys really surprised me going into the season very late. Curly, for example, and still very consistent in their point scoring. So Curly really joined late and so far scored an 8th, a 5th, a 5th, an 8th. And he's again up there in 8th. So he's really only got 2 positions he finishes in, which is always good to see that they
Consistent.
are where they belong. Yeah, it speaks volumes in my eyes. Same with James, who right now is struggling a little bit to keep up with the faster guys, but also he has older tires, I believe. Always up there in the top 5, top steps. Great effort from him in earlier stages where he got himself his first podium. But really, that's the stuff league racing is all about. Of course, you can have that flashy result once and suck for the rest of the season, but some of these guys put in the work and consistently score the medium kind of points, which is also a great skill to have.
I remember when I started One Hub, I think every race I was just like, I was so close to points. It was, I think it used to be like top 10 get points, and I was like finishing 11th or 12th all the time. And then when it was top 12 score points, I kept finishing like 13th. So, and then when I ended up getting points in one of the races, I was like, it's like Christmas has all gone at once. So for some people, getting just the 1 point, it's like Christmas that comes at once. As Madge, by the way, has passed King Bryce on the way into Spoon Curve. Not probably the driver he was expected to battle in this race, but he's battling with them anyway. So Madge as yellow flag. That is the Aston Martin of Fox. Fox has had a bit of a moment and he has dropped down into 14th position. He's not going to get any points unless he can get fastest lap outside the top 10, because there are points for that. Mark Crawford's gap between himself and Jamie is staying relatively stable at the moment, but we have got Reaper right on the back of Jake now, and Reaper means business. It's raining! It's raining!
All right, that's tragedy for Reaper, I believe. If it starts this early, it will be pivotal to get the timing right, obviously, but also it will be mandatory to stop another time, which he wanted to avoid, obviously. Yeah. Mark Crawford, while we were talking about him, he got himself into trouble. 3-second penalty for his efforts, same as Oaken and Shiesty further back. Helvetica, King Bryce, Nightclaw, and Kenzie also collecting penalties like Pokemon cards tonight.
Oh, look at Ocon! Ocon going for the moving 130R on older tyres. Now, that is something that I was not expecting at all, but Ocon doing a great job. Mark Crawford's in. I think it's a bit early for set up the Inters. I think staying out is probably the right decision as well. You've got to be keeping an eye on the track around you. As I was saying earlier, the experienced drivers will know when it is the best time to pit. They will know based on the track conditions and the force feedback. I know when it's probably starting to rain quite hard enough, because I lose a bit of force feedback myself. It gets not lose force feedback, but the force feedback gets lighter. So I know, right, if the force feedback's getting a bit lighter, I know it'll be time for me to pit soon. And yeah, Lukey, I think it's Lukey in the chat. I think, yes, I agree with that one, as we got a yellow flag in towards T1, and I'm not quite sure what that is, but we will keep an eye on that at the moment. So the ones that have stayed out, Jake, Joel, and Jamie have profited massively. Reaper maybe not, but he still managed to get into P3. But it could have been P1 if he went on the right tyre. So I think Reaper has shot himself in the foot there. Yes, he's going to be on for a podium, but it could have been an easy victory if he went on the same tyre to start with as Jamie for his first stop.
Yes, but now we have a situation where Jamie, Oaken, and maybe Curly might profit from their teammates, who could, being that they're not fighting for a podium or anything bigger points, they could pit and see and wait when it's time for the Inters. So they have the perfect timing ahead of those guys not having their teammates up there. Because
Is
the Red
Ocon
Bulls,
going to come in? He's coming in.
they will fight. They will fight it out. Oaken is gambling early. Okay.
That is interesting. That is interesting. I'm looking at the track now. Still not... I think it's still not wet enough, Papa. But we can see Reaper's getting past Joel up into second. He's doing well on those fresh rubber. Joel's mediums is struggling a little bit. So maybe the extra stop that Reaper made was probably the right decision to get into second. But I wonder, would he have been in that position if he didn't pit? We'll have to wait and see. So we've had 4 cars who have pitted. Yellow flag again. I'm going to get... I think it's people losing it in the pit lane. Is one of the Ferraris. It's definitely not Ocon because I'm seeing him there. Night Clear, I think, lost a bit of ground there at the moment. And it's not going to be very long before it's wet. I am going to see the Delta right now. And it's coming down. It is 1.5 seconds slower at the moment, the Inters. So it's almost there, but not quite. Luckily, I would have telemetry software that would tell me if it's slower. But there's some damp parts. Maybe it might be the best chance for people to pit. I don't know. I'm not racing. I can't tell. That they might have their engineer that will tell them. So we will see what happens. Is Jamie going to come in? He stays out. But someone did I just see someone come in? No, it's just me imagining things. There we go. But it's still not quite enough for Inters, it looks like. But we'll keep an eye on Ocon as he closes in on Curly. And he's losing, it looks like he's losing time. He's losing quite a bit of time. So I don't think it's going to be enough. Jake's going to take the gamble then. We'll see what he could do. Jamie has not done 2 stops, no. I will get you the stops, actually. Rydog for you. Jamie, Joel, Jake, Curly, Helvetica, King Bryson, Kenzie have all done 1 stop. They still got to do 1 more. Everyone else has done 2. So if it stays like this and doesn't get wet enough, then the ones on the 2 stop will benefit.
Exactly. Reaper will be praying that he can continue on his dry runs. Because you have also, if it's wet enough or too wet for the dries, you still have to make up the time loss in the pits, which is not too easy to do in 5 laps remaining. So it's really a moment for the gamblers out there right now. Maybe those people who pitted early on the Inter will profit because they're the ones earlier. We've all been there, hanging it out there with 1 or 2 laps to go, and still the situation became so unbearable that you lost out just on the brinks. And there were moments where you could hang it out and profit from what Reaper did. He's actually catching Jamie, which is impressive. He had the upper hand on the pace, I believe, as Jamie is pitting now. He has to pit, obviously, 1 more time. Let's see what tires he chooses.
We will see. Will it be softs or will it be Inters? We will find out in due course. Reaper was about 2 seconds quicker than Jamie that last lap. So it just shows how much Reaper was gaining there. So Inters on the car for Jamie. Joel goes on Inters as well. We're going to keep an eye on Oaken right now to see if him pitting is enough. And it's some slippy bits, but there's still some dry bits. It's kind of in the middle. I just don't know. If I was a driver, I would not know which way to go. According to my Delta, the dry tyre is still the faster tyre to be on right now. Joel goes on Inters, and we will see. Oh, has Jamie done a bit of a slide coming out of Degner 1, which has not helped his cause at all. But most people are on Inters, apart from Madge, Helvetica, and Kenzie. Reaper, he's gained a second on Jamie that lap. He has gained a second. my answer here is the inters are not enough right now. It is still the right side for slicks. Yes, it's slippy. It's not good for any tyre. But at the moment, there could be some elements where the inters are, the slicks are faster. But it is hard to tell because we're not racing. But now Jamie's starting to close up on Reaper. Oh, I don't know. I don't know which is the way. I think it could be inters now, Papa. Jamie is closing at a rate of knots now.
I do believe it's Jamie's as well, because Reaper also has a penalty.
Oh, he has
Did
3
you just get it?
seconds.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's,
Yeah, 3 seconds.
they are struggling right now. Every lap that will just increase. So every lap we inch more towards conditions that favor Jamie. I still don't know if 14 seconds is something that, or 11 seconds with a penalty is enough to win this. I would actually love with that strategy. It was such a bold decision. We all questioned it, and if he pulls it off, it will be a masterclass. But still, very much in doubt of that, as I believe further along the Alpines are now behind each other. I believe Curly and James had a coming together.
Oh, Joel's had a moment. Or Jake has overtaken him. Joel is struggling on those inters, and Jake's like, thank you very much. Ocon's struggling as well, side by side into the S's. Jake around the outside, and Jake's through. Jake's covered him off. Jake, once again, is on the podium, just like he was last week. He could be on for a second podium in a row. His strategy call, I have to say, DRS disabled. DRS disabled. Reaper, I don't know what I would do if I was in Reaper's shoes, but Reaper's gonna hope that the track doesn't get worse. But we'll see the gaps coming down massively. I'm absolutely gutted for him. The gamble was okay on paper, but sometimes you got to make that call, and he didn't make that call well. But it's hard to tell on this game. So Reaper is unfortunately going to be the one that misses out. He's going to drop behind Jamie, so he's going to still get second place, to be fair. But it's not going to be enough. He's going to try and stick it out. Fair play. Because you never know. The gap may be enough. And if he gets to the end on hard tides, I think we saw something similar in one of the tiers last season. I think it might have been P1 actually. But it was really good that Reaper's doing this. We'll see if he can do it. He's crawling, bless him. We'll see if he can get those tides to the end in P1. If he does, he's going to get my drive for the day.
He's doing a really good job through these S's. I'm riding on board with him, and of course he's struggling to put the power down, but he's very patient, waiting for the traction to kick in and not doing any risky stuff. So if he carries this car 3 more laps, 2.5 laps further along, and manages to do so without losing 10 seconds to Jamie behind, that would be my driver of the day for certain. But it's still getting worse out there. Every trap he loses traction a little more and struggles a little more. But of course these hards are also the right tire to be on right now. They don't need so much temperature, so they will be the best of the worst, if you will, till the end. While Jamie doesn't make up enough ground. I believe it's still 13 seconds, 10 if you count the penalty. And with 2 and a bit to go,
I can't see any drops. I can't see any drops, Papa. I can see no drops on the circuit. So Reaper might have just done enough to take the win. We will see. We got 2 more laps to go after this one, so we will see what happens there. I just can't stop watching this. It is absolutely incredible. As you can see, it's a lot of people struggling on a set of those inters. Jake, by the way, is pulled away from Ocon. Joel, by the way, is looking quite good on the back of Ocon. There's so many drivers that I wish I was watching right now, but we want to keep an eye on the front lot to see if they could try and close in just a little bit. But it is really intriguing. Apparently, the intermediates are still slower than the hard tires. So,
but if you went too early on those, they might have actually overheated before
they overheated,
it became wet enough for them. And it's 1.5, 2 seconds Jamie made up now in the first half of the lap. He really has to get going. Light up every timing sheet that is available. Push every bit of energy out of his car that is available to make up this now 7-second gap to Reaper up front, who has gambled, who may win out due to a crazy strategy pull.
It's even crazier than Craggy staying on hard tyres for 20 laps in P1 last week. It's probably even crazier than that. So, I'm just amazed that he's doing it, to be fair. But can he hold on to the end? We will find out in about a lap's time. Curly, by the way, is going to gain massively because he's hardly got any penalties at all, whereas everybody else does in these tricky conditions, as Madge gets past Fox, who's also trying to stay on those hards. Not working for him right now. We're on the final lap of this race.
This is going to be so close. Jamie made up 5 seconds the last lap, and this is exactly what he needed to do. I think
5 seconds.
Conditions are atrocious now if you are on dry tires.
There's drops.
He barely hangs on to
he's
his car
sliding
through the aces. This is so slow. 6 seconds the gap. 3 with the time penalty. I don't think he's gonna make it. Jamie's gonna nick it from him. He will still finish on the podium with a great effort, but obviously he had the win at his preserved for him. The pace he showed, but it's not enough in the end. Still a great effort. It's so amazing to see. Look at the battery charging. He's so slow that he's at 100%.
Oh, bless him. He's just admitting defeat right now, is Reaper, unfortunately. I'm looking at the sector times. Jamie gained the most in Sector 2 by almost 3 seconds compared to Reaper. So it looks like we have got the first person apart from F1 added to pick up 2 race wins in a row, which will be well deserved. Look at that, Reaper's crawling. Reaper is crawling on Jamie, but they can't afford to lose out. Jamie, if I were you, just stay behind. Stay behind Reaper. You're going to get Reaper no matter what here, as they still go side by side. Reaper must hold on to the race win on a track here as they make their way towards the final corner. A bit of a side from Reaper. Jamie gets a better exit, but for the second week in a row, Jamie wins in the P4 around Japan and extend his championship lead. Reaper gets second and Jake goes up to the line. He's got Ocon catching up to him. However, Jake is going to get his second podium in a row, his third podium of the season after starting, I think, 7th or 8th. So well done to him, as Joel Flats actually gets 4th because he got no penalties. Ocon in 5th, Shiesty, a good recovery from him to take 6th. That's good. Points for McLaren in the constructors. And we'll go through the rest of your order very quickly in a minute because I've got to go soon for P3. But oh, wow, what a race, Papa. What a race. Jamie with his second race win in a row.
Race.
Reaper staying out on hards, but not quite working. And Jake gets his second podium in a row.
Yes, indeed. Very much a brilliant race from start to the end. We had a brief battle between those guys. Reaper seemed to have the upper end in the first stint, but with his gamble, kind of robbed us from a great fight we would have seen on track if it was a little bit different. If it was 1 lap less, maybe he would have pulled it off. Great strategy. Despite all of that, he still confirms that he seems to be the first challenger for Jamie up there in our championship.
Yep, he is. We are going to have to quickly run through the results, but whilst we do, Papa, who's your driver of the day and what would you like to ask him?
I would still go with Reaper, obviously. What did you think when the rain kicked in? And yeah, I will make a better job of a question further along as I have a think about it. I'm sorry, but
No worries.
Reaper.
No worries. Yeah. I was going to give it to I was going to give it to Reaper if you weren't going to give it. But my sim racing setup driver of the day is got to be Jamie. He got pole. He looked control throughout the entirety of the race. Got the strategy spot on. And we thought he was going to lose it at the end, but he took control. So my question is, did you ever think that the track was going to be wet enough like that? And how proud of you were to get the race victory today, your second race win in a row. So run quickly through your order. We'll scroll through. Oh my goodness. We don't have time to go through everything because we have got obviously P3 and I got to get ready for that. Quinn is an absolute lifesaver. He's hosting today's lobby, so I don't have to worry about setting it up, but I got to make my way through quickly. So, Papa, quickly, any final thoughts before we give Lawrence the reins in P3 comms?
Final thoughts, driver of the day of our hearts is obviously the second Mercedes driver, who did some civil courage, I believe is the term. Great stuff to hear. Obviously sad he missed out on such a great race. And special thank you to Jess, who filled in for Evil, whom I hope will get better soon. It's a great thing that you helped out for us to stream this great event tonight. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Papa, for joining us once again. A final quick thank you to our sponsor, Delta App, Sim Racing Setups, Next Level Racing, Vespertine, Pure Sim Gear, and SimGrid, and of course, Mental Health Foundation. Good luck with your race, Papa. I really do hope you do well. # T commentators, and you can join Lois and Curly for P3. I'm hardly going to have any practice at all, so that's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens, but I have a rough idea of how it's going to work with what I've seen in P4. So you'll get to see me and Jamie in the commentary box for P1 later. But for now, we will see you in just a few minutes for P3. Take care. Bye-bye.